can usually do some damage to them if they're not paying attention. And here's another mistake that they kind of made. You're going to notice that I ended up blocking off right here. Now, I blocked off completely because I went for a Blink Stalker build. However, if I didn't do that and I did a 4-gate, I would still have a Zealot here on hold position just to make sure that I can't get run by. Because Ling run-bys, Hellion run-bys are going to absolutely demolish your economy before you're ever going to have time to react. And if I did have a Zealot here instead on hold position, yeah, the Hellions will be able to kill it, but I should be able to get a sentry out and then force steal the ramp and only let in maybe 2-3 Hellions at most. And then from there, as long as I chrono boost my warp gates, I should make sure that I'll end up getting a couple Stalkers out in time to actually defend this without losing all my workers. But he ended up not doing that, and he didn't block off, and as a result, just 5 Hellions here. Well, actually no, that's 6, but either way, they're going to kill almost every single one of his workers, and then from that point, he's just going to be behind the rest of the game. And even losing 6 Hellions there is definitely worth it. He didn't necessarily have to lose those, but losing those 6 Hellions isn't going to make much of a difference in this game. And as you can see, even though those Lings end up getting surrounded by Stalkers, they're just not able to really kill them off before my allies can get there to help me. Especially because I can just blink out as soon as I lose the shields on my Stalkers. And since my partner here has Banshees, and I believe the other Terran actually did the same thing. Yep, he was able to do some damage down here. But with a little bit of good teamwork, and use scans, and then clean up any kind of Banshees like this. Although, you should really have a Spore Crawler by at least 10 minutes into the game if someone opens the Blue Flame Hellions. Because they're going to have Hellions, or Banshees are going to be a little bit delayed, but it won't be any more than maybe 2-3 minutes delayed, assuming they're macroing well. But in the meantime, our other partner was able to take out the Protoss. You're going to notice this fight here. Our opponents have quite a few number of units here, but I'm able to keep almost all my Stalkers alive. And this just shows you how much of a difference Banshee or Blink Stalkers can make if the game drags on. If this was just a 10-minute game, then 4 gates is just as good, but I was able to keep my Stalkers alive, and then towards the end of the game it really did make a difference, especially cleaning up Banshees on the map. Okay, well I got one more game for you guys, so I'll just have that load up in just a sec. Alright, this is the final game I'm going to show you guys then. This one features basically our team having 2 Zergs, 2 Protoss, and we're going against 3 Zergs and a Terran. Now, the strategy that this team over here should be doing is basically mass Ling and Hellion. It's probably better if 2 of them get like a 10 pull, just so they can apply a little bit of early pressure, and then the other one do like a 14 pull to get Banelings out. That way they can most likely take out one of our Zerg partners early in the game, or even our Protoss partner up here. So what you really should do, even though this map isn't the best for blocking off because it has a wide ramp, you should still do it as Protoss, because even if you can just get 1 Zealot in there, it's going to make a big difference in actually defending. And later in the game, him building close, it's nice in the beginning because you're able to defend a little bit easier, but as the game drags on, run-bys are going to become a real issue. So at this point we're able to figure out that they've got Lings out on the map, not surprising at all. So what you need to do is chrono boost out a Zealot. Since they have more Zergs than we do, they're going to have Lings out on the map and have map control early on. So just once you get your Zealot out, just hold position. If they came down to my side, I would be getting a second Zealot here. My partner did a 2-gate opening. That way he could actually defend himself early. The only problem with doing this is if they have a Terran in the game, as soon as Hellions get out on the map, they're going to be able to basically just completely run around, pick off Lings and Zealots early on in the game, and you're not going to have Stalkers out in time to actually defend it. So that's kind of the downside of doing a 2-gate opening like this. But it is pretty good if the other team's kind of careless and they're losing Lings early on. Because what these players should really be doing is just keeping all their Lings alive as best they can. And they should just buy time until they can get some Hellions on the map, or else until they have speed. Because at that point, they're going to be able to more cost efficiently engage the enemy. So really, when you're fighting lings on lings, you only want to be fighting when you know you can win. Even if you only have one more ling than the other person, that's the time you want to fight. But if you're just even in lings, or you're even behind, don't waste your lings early in the game. It just doesn't make sense to do that. So if you end up having less Zergs than the other team, what you should be doing is, if they have someone going Hellions like this, one of your Protoss should try and 4-gate him. Because that's what you're going to need to do to make sure that his Hellions can't get out on the map in great numbers. Because once you get past about 4 Hellions, lings in Zealots just become almost useless. Because they just get roasted up so quickly, and then the other team's going to get a pretty big advantage. So in the meantime, I set up a proxy pylon while my allies are applying a little bit of pressure up here. But once the Hellions get out here, you're going to see that there's no way Zealots are ever going to beat Hellions, ever. So at this point in the game, I'm going to be able to apply a little bit of pressure down here. And then with my second round of warp-ins here, my Stalkers are going to be able to keep denying him from getting a lot of Hellions out. And that's all you really need to do. You just need to make sure that he can keep his low Hellions in low numbers. In this case, he's going for Cloak, but even if he was going for Blue Flame, he'd probably only have maybe 2 more Hellions at this point. And really the best thing you can do is 4-gate someone who's going mass Blue Flame Hellion like this. And this is kind of the reason that I prefer going for rack Hellions with 2 racks Marauder afterwards. If you're going against just Zergs and Protoss alone, Hellion Marauder, in my opinion, is by far the best build. You don't need Blue Flame unless if you're going against other Hellions. So unless if there's 2 Zergs and a Terran on the other team who are getting Hellions, you don't really need to go for Blue Flame. The Hellions are just out there to basically make sure you can gain early map control instead of proxy pylons and everything else. And even though we ended up starting down the Zerg player, with some pretty good micro early on, 2-gate opening up top, buying a little bit of time, and then me 4-gating this person who won Hellions down here, we're going to be able to win this game without too much trouble. In the meantime, I got to forge, get a can of my mineral line as soon as I saw the Banshees. Of course, you want to try and get a little bit earlier, probably maybe about 7-8 minutes into the game to make sure that you have detection. And you'll notice up here, if we go into income, he's lost all of his workers. And this is really why I block off. Because if you go down here, grant if he was on hold position, which he's not in this case, I wouldn't have lost any workers to that ling run by. Because I could have just had him on hold position, and then I would have a good 10 seconds or more to react. I warp in a sentry, force field it off, and then he basically wasted all his time trying to run by me. And our Zerg players have a spine crawler, and that's all you really need to do. If you're worried about the other team trying to come back, investing 100 minerals in the spine crawler is really a good investment, because that's going to just make sure that you buy time for your partners or you to react to a ling run by. Alright, well I hope you guys enjoyed these games featuring 2 Zerg players, and I'm going to have more 4v4 and 3v3 games coming up for you very soon. Thanks for watching.